crime crisis nationwide continues to be on the minds of many Americans before the big vote in 2 months. Latest Pew Research poll shows 60% of voters consider violent crime to be very important when casting their ballot. Republican Maryland Governor Larry Hogan is with us now, and good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
You're pushing a refund the police movement. How's it going to work?
Well, so when all this far left lunacy first came out, I was I think the first elected leader in America to strongly speak out against this and say that, you know, our police are underfunded and under attack. So in Maryland, we initiated a $500 million increase in police funding, and including a 50% increase in state funding to local police. And this was overwhelmingly popular, not just in Republican areas, but with the folks in places like Baltimore City who were the victims of crime and they didn't want to defund the police. Saying you want to defund the police to improve policing is like saying you want to defund the schools to improve education. It's lunacy.
Right.
And so it's now starting to, change the narrative all across the country. And so I've been out supporting candidates that are pushing dealing with violent crime and supporting police as part of their policies.
Well, tell us a little bit about that, because you went to Portland, Oregon. There's a competitive gubernatorial race out there. The Republican is Christine Drazan. You think she's got a shot. But tell us what you observed in Portland and why you think crime is an issue people will vote on.
Well, Portland is I just got in last night from Portland, and it's a poster child for far left policies run amok. People doing hard drugs that are now legalized all over the streets, or homeless people. It's causing tremendous amounts, 207% increase in violent crime. And Christine Drazan is a great candidate who's focused on this. She and I did a roundtable with people on homelessness and crime and what we're going to do about it. We talked about what we're doing in Maryland, and I think she's got a great shot. The RGA is pretty high on this race. People don't, most people don't focus in on Oregon as a potential pickup for Republicans. I'm telling you, it could happen.
It could be.
The thing about Oregon, you got a lot of Democratic voters out there, a lot of progressive voters, especially in the Portland area.
Yeah.
But it's a three-way race, and there provides an opportunity where the Republican could slip in and win with less than 50% of the vote, you could argue. But come back to the point about when things get so low, people say, man, we need change.
Yes.
And you're a Republican governor in a state that won office 8 years ago. And in your own experience in Maryland, you found that people were just fed up then.
And I think that's where they are in Oregon today and in a couple of other states. In 2014, our state had raised taxes 43 times in a row. They crushed 10,000 businesses. We lost 100,000 jobs. And a Gallup poll came out that said 48% of all the people in our state wanted to move. And that's when I decided to run for governor. And people said, a Republican can't win in the bluest state in America. But we did, because people were so fed up that they were ready to finally do something and vote in a way that they never had before. And that's what I saw in Oregon. People just so disgusted. They've probably never voted for a Republican in their life, but they might be fed up enough to do it.
And in those 8 years that you were governor, what were the results, in terms, especially on crime?
So I just talked about the economy. I'll hit that first and then crime. So on the economy, we cut taxes 8 years in a row by $4.8 billion, took a $5 billion deficit, turned it into a $3 billion surplus. Our economy went from 49th out of 50 states to number 6, biggest economic turnaround in America. On crime, in 2015, when the riots broke out in Baltimore, I immediately declared a state of emergency, sent in 1,000 extra police officers and 4,000 members of the National Guard, and stopped the violence immediately, which is the opposite of what happened in Portland and Seattle and every other city in America.
What you're saying is you got to get people to cry uncle to get change like that.
Yes, you do.
And it happened for you.
You have to get to the point where they've hit the wall and they're saying, I'm willing to try anything.
I think Americans are there.
I think we're fed up with politics as usual, and I think they're ready to make a change.
Come on back,
Governor Hogan, good to see you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for coming in.
Good to see you.